we'll start with Game of the Year. That is going to be our first one to begin with. So, a Game of the Year, if you'd like to all write that down or write down your piece of paper on your whiteboards. I know that Adam and Sky have invested heavily in apparatus for tonight's show. So
some paid more than others, but we won't talk about that.
Give me a second. My pen's run out of battery at the worst battery.
Your pen's run out of battery. Jeez, wow. That's some fancy whiteboard you got there, buddy. Some fancy whiteboard. Yeah, Game of the Year. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of fantastic games, fantastic matchups in a lot of divisions this year, and some nail-biting ones for sure. We've talked about them in our previews of some of the divisions, to make sure you check that out as well. If we are all ready, let's see your Game of the Year.
Adam better not vote Super Bowl on the wind-up.
Okay, so we've got Packers v Lions with Adam there. We've got Week 8 Eagles at Bengals from Sky, and we've got Jets 49ers from Johnny. I feel like there is two very biased ones there, Adam and Johnny. We're picking your own teams. Adam, Packers and Lions. Are you thinking Jordan Love, Jared Goff shootout in that game?
Pretty much, yeah. I think that, it doesn't really matter where it is either. I think both of them could be quite good, whether it's at Lambeau or whether it's in Detroit. So, I think if you want a couple of high-scoring games with two teams that have got good good offenses and potentially some promising defenses, then I'd argue that they're probably two of the better matchups.
I can already see it already. Hopefully it's one in the winter, in the darkness of Lambeau Field, outside as well. Every time when the offensive line and defensive line are lined up, there's just fog where they're so cold and bright. You can just see it happening. Like, oh, no snow. We don't want snow.
Isn't one of them Thursday night football as well?
Oh, potentially.
Yeah. You could have it in the snow. Though? Brady threw like 5 touchdowns in the snow. You could do that.
Good point, Johnny. That means you must think the 49ers are going to be doing some damage this year if you've got the Jets. And, of course, it'll be the return of Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers v. Purdy, the first time we'll have seen that?
Yeah, must be. Yeah, it's it's got so many storylines, this game, hasn't it? The return of Aaron Rodgers coming up against, his boyhood team. He's taking on Leonard Floyd, who's the guy who broke his ACL last year. Obviously two big teams, a lot of expectations on both of them. I think it's the perfect game to kick off, Monday Night Football for the new season. These are two teams who have had a lot going on this off season, a lot that's been resolved, a lot that hasn't been. So I still think there's plenty of question marks on both teams, but we know that they've both got the star power, certainly on paper, in terms of the Jets having to come out and prove themselves, and the 49ers as well. I think if anything, the pressure has massively increased, I think, this summer for the Niners. Both teams out with the point to prove. It's going to be an absolute classic, I think, on Monday.
Fireworks, that'll be good fun. Sky, remind me of yours. It was Bengals v the
Eagles at the Bengals. Sorry,
Eagles at the Bengals. Okay, Eagles, a team that some people think are going to have a bit of a down year this year, but you think the Bengals with Joe Burrow backfiring could be a firework game?
Yeah, I just feel like there's obviously a lot of offensive playmakers on both of those teams, and sort of the midway point of the season, you do tend to get, you think about that Rams-Chiefs game years ago. I feel like that was probably middle or week 10-ish. Once you start getting to like week 8 and above, people are clicking, people are firing, providing there's no injuries. I think it's two good quarterbacks with plenty of weapons and plenty of points, and two teams that I probably expect to make the playoffs as well. So, yeah, it should be good. Okay, I had Jets Niners on there, but I did think that Johnny was going to say it. So I was like, we'll go different. And sorry, Bills Chiefs as well. I think I've seen a lot of people say, but it just almost like when you had such a good playoff game that they had last year in the divisional round, I think sometimes like rematches or whatever, they just fall a bit flat. Like I think some of these games, they've had a lot of shootouts already.
Those hype, do they?
Yeah.
They don't live up to the hype. It can be. It's always like I always say. If you ever, my always go to is my favorite game of football I've ever seen was that Rams Chiefs game. It was meant to be in Mexico, but it was at the old Rams Stadium. Fireworks. If anyone is new to the NFL, watch that game in full, and you'll get it. You'll get why we're into NFL, because it's got everything for everybody.